Text is cool and all, but you know what else would be really cool to show on your web page is a bunch of images. You know, you want to be able to see family photos or see logos and other really cool stuff. So this is where the image tag comes in. So to declare an image tag, all you do is just type img. And then inside of the image tag, we need to do something that we actually haven't done yet with other tags. And that is to include some attributes. And for image, the most important attribute is the source of the image. So where do we get this picture from? So source equals, and then we can put in the place where the image is stored. So if it's on your computer, it's going to be a file path, which is going to be like your user, your documents, your folder name, and then whatever the file extension is. But I'm going to be using an image that is hosted online somewhere. In this case, it would be the HTML5 logo. So all I got to do here is simply just put in the URL for that logo, and then boom, we have an image that has appeared. So what's interesting about the image tag is that there's no like real content for it. So in the image tag, the only thing that you really do is you kind of define the attributes that you want to be part of this image. So what I can do now is I just do a / and I close out the tag. So there is no like opening and closing tags in this case. It's just kind of, it just opens once and it can all like essentially fit on the same line. So other cool stuff that we can do is we can use a lot of the different attributes to change it. So some very common attributes that we could use are things like the height and the width of the image. So if I say like height equals, and then I do double quotes and I say 256 pixels, what I can do is I can set its height to 256 pixels, and then it'll constrain its width accordingly. And if I were to do the same thing with its width equals 256. And there we go. It's set to both 256 high and 256 wide. I forgot to type in pixels there. So those are examples of some of the attributes that we can use. We can also specify things like a text to appear whenever the image isn't there, and so on and so forth. So that's called the alternative ALT. So this is the alternative text that describes the image. So what we could do here is we just type ALT equals, and then we can do double quotes again, like we've done for all of the other attributes. And then I could say HTML5 logo as the alternative text here. And alternative text is useful for when you can't find the image or it moves somewhere. It's also useful for people who are like disabled and they need to like know like what is that an image of. Like, can you imagine a blind person? Having an alt text would actually help them to be able to figure out what that image is of in the page if they're using something like a screen reader. So here's what we do. We just simply mess up the URL, and then if we look at there, it says HTML5 logo, which is the alternative text that we wanted to show right there, which is really cool. So if you want to learn more about the different attributes that are available for the image tag, I highly recommend that you go to the developer.mozilla.org website and kind of just go through the different HTML elements and their attributes. Like as you can see, you can do things like specify the alternative text, its border, its cross origin, its height, if it's a map or whatnot. I mean, there's lots of different things that we can do here for the HTML, for the image tag. And I recommend this website because Mozilla kind of keeps up with standards and they're going to keep this page up to date. As you can see, there's things that say this has been deprecated since HTML 4.0.1. And the current version of HTML that I'm using at the time of this recording is basically HTML5. So HTML5 and all of its new technologies as they begin to come out and change will be updated here and reflected in this developer.mozilla.org website. Cool. So now that you know about images, we're gonna move on to some other tags and kind of keep going from there.